There we are. Good morning. So, my neighbor is going to be gone for a few weeks, and they asked me to water their garden while they're away. And so I went down to look at their garden so I could know what to do. And as I was looking at their garden, I realized I didn't know all the plants that they had planted there. And their garden looked like a mess. And so I thought maybe some of these plants might be weeds, and I need to figure out which ones are weeds so maybe I can clean their garden up. And so I took pictures of the plants and searched for them online to find out what type of plants they are. And can you help me figure out if these plants are weeds or if they're good plants? I know the answer to the first one, though. My dad told me all the time growing up, this is definitely a weed. Whenever we got these growing up on our farm, we had to pull them out. Do you guys know what this is?
Yes, I know.
What is this? Yeah, milkweed, right? Got to get rid of milkweed. It's even named a weed, right? Milkweed was something we got rid of all the time. What?
Well, they attract butterflies. If you want butterflies to come in the garden and pollen all over.
So you're saying this is not a weed? It's called milkweed.
It could in some ways, but it's not in some.
So you think my neighbor might want this in their garden? Because my dad told me it was a weed. You're not, okay, we're not sure about that one, okay. What about this one? This one's definitely a weed, right? I don't even know what this is. It's a weed, this is definitely a weed. It's good for nothing, we just destroy it? Get rid of it? Okay. What about this one? This one's a good plant, yeah? Is this one of the ones that makes flowers? No, how do you know it's a weed?
It's a weed. It's a prickly weed.
It's a prickly weed? How do you know it's a weed?
In gardens, they destroy plants.
Oh, they destroy other plants? What about this one? Is this a weed? No. That's a beautiful flower? Oh, because it's pretty, it's good. Okay. What about this one? Is this one a weed? What do you think? Do you think this is a weed? No? I don't know.
Weed.
That's a weed? I pulled this all the time growing up. This is mint. This mint invaded my raspberry patch and kept trying to take it over, and I had to pull it all the time growing up. I think it's a weed.
Maybe it's not.
What about this? Do you think this is a weed? Yes? Do you know what this is? Can you guess what it is? It's got 3 leaves. It's poison ivy. Ooh. Do you think poison ivy is a weed? You think so? You know, I think it's a weed too. Poison ivy is my enemy, but everyone tells me that poison ivy is actually really good for gardens. They say that if there's poison ivy, you should let it keep growing, which I don't know why. I've never understood that, but I'm told it's good for things. So people tell me it's not a weed, just stay away from it. I don't know. I'm not sure. What about this one? I found this. They're poison? They're berries. Berries are a good thing. They're poison berries?
Poisonous to us, maybe not to the animal.
What about this one? This a weed?
Plant.
Plant? It's a plant, so it's a weed. Gotta get rid of it. The rest are all plants too.
That's a fly trap. Yeah.
Oh, it's a Venus flytrapper. So is it good or bad?
If you touch it,
If I.
snap it.
Ooh. So it's dangerous. Definitely got to pull it. What about this one? Is this one a weed? Did this grown in our garden? This is a weed? This is a weed?
No,
Should I pull this?
it's a flower weed.
I think my neighbors might be angry at me if I pulled this one. You know what this is? This is strawberries. These are strawberries. Where the flowers are, that's going to grow strawberries after they get pollinated. Hey, careful. You think so? Except those they'd be happy with. Everything else, maybe we're not sure. You know,
I'm not sure.
You know, Jesus told a story about a farmer who planted a field with lots of good things like strawberries. And then someone else came by and planted some bad things, like prickly leaves. And when the plants all came up and the people who were taking care of the farm saw all the plants, they went up to the farmer and said, "Look at all those weeds. What happened? Can we rip those weeds out?" And the farmer said, "No." The farmer said, "No, because if you rip out the weeds, you might accidentally rip out the good plants along with them. I know the mint, when the mint grew up in my raspberry patch, it grew up all around my raspberries. And if I pulled the mint out, sometimes it would pull the raspberries right along with it. And it would destroy my good plants right alongside them." And so the farmer said, "No, don't worry about it. We'll wait until it's harvest time. And when it's time for harvest, then we'll pick all the good plants and we'll get rid of the bad ones then. But that's not your job to worry about that. Your job is just to care for the field." And you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, as you guys kept saying that some of these things aren't weeds. I don't know what you're talking about, but this one is definitely a weed. The more I'm thinking about it, my neighbor just asked me to water their garden. They didn't say anything about weeding it. They just said, "Can you water it while I'm away?" And so I'm wondering, maybe those plants are there on purpose. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the garden, am I? It's not my garden to figure out what's good and what's bad. Maybe they want thistles in their garden. I really don't know. I'm not in charge of it.
If weeds are knocked by any of the good plants, you could very carefully knock these out.
But I don't know what they want in their garden, do I? All I know is that they told me to water it.
Probably you don't want any of these.
I think we do a really good job of deciding some things are bad and other things are beautiful and good, don't we? But we may not always be right, because like I said, my dad always told me this was bad, but you guys say it's good. So sometimes we get things wrong. We don't know what's actually bad and what's actually good sometimes. We may have a lot to learn still.
Weed could destroy plants in ways, because it grew in my grandma's front yard garden.
I think we'd like to do the same thing with people, though, too. We like to decide who's good and who's bad, who's in and who's out, who gets to belong and who has to leave, don't we? Sometimes I'm the one who's bad. And sometimes there's people who want me to leave and to get out of here because they're like, "You're being bad, and we don't want you in this group." But you know what Jesus says about that? Jesus says it's not our job to determine who's good and who's bad. The only thing we're asked to do is to love everyone, even the people we may not like. That's a big calling, isn't it? To love everyone, even the ones we may not like. That'd be hard. But I think it's really good news, because like I said, sometimes I'm the person people don't like. Have you ever been in that position where you're the person people don't like? That happens to all of us once in a while. And Jesus says, even when I'm the person that people don't like, that I still get to stay. Not because I haven't done anything bad, but because Jesus wants to care for me until I'm good again. And that's really good news, right? Can we say a prayer? Say, "God, I don't like weeds, but I don't always know what you like. Help me to be like you, because you show me love even when I'm acting like a weed. And I like that you love me always. Amen." Thank you guys for coming on up. You can go show these parents, have them figure out which are weeds, see if they can figure it out.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like if you heard good news and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest message. Peace be with you.